Warning, spoilies ahead.
No, I've decided that if I'm going to have a funeral, regardless of what happens to my corpse, I want at least one or two people to come dressed as bananas, but don't tell anybody why or give any explanation.
And just have them look really sad and
Yeah.
like crying.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm sorry for your loss, man. I really am.
Yeah. Like, I need you to take it as seriously as you possibly can, even though it's funny. But I need you to pretend like you're actually sad. Like, if it's me and I die first, I need you to be in a banana suit.
I'll dress as a banana just to.
Like, I don't care how old you fucking are. And
I'll do it. Believe you me, I will do it. Hello, people of the future. Welcome to Two Guys, One Film. I'm Dylan.
And I'm Dane. And this week, we watched the 1976 movie Logan's Run. It is directed by Michael Anderson, writers David Zelig Goodman, it's a long name, William F. Nolan, and George Clayton Johnson. It's got Michael York. I guess Jenny, the woman that's like opposite, has been a bunch of shit. I don't know of anything.
She looks
else.
familiar. I just know the
She
dude,
does.
I just forgot his name, his best friend. I just know him from the original Dune as Duncan, Idaho.
I was gonna say, where did I see that guy?
And there's something else he's in, but I just know him
and
primarily as Duncan.
The only other character I think I sort of recognize was it like the guy that was. And again, we jump around in movies. When they go to the cathedral and like that leader kid, isn't he in a bunch of other stuff? He's
he seemed it, yeah.
It's a very 80s, late 70s,
Late
early
70s.
80s.
I mean, he bloomed
Yeah.
in the 80s, you know. That's
Yeah.
when he really found his footing as a young actor. But anyway.
But yeah, I'd say that Michael York's probably the most famous out of everybody
He's
in this.
Basil.
Yeah, dude, he was in
From
Austin Powers.
All three Awesome Powers.
He's so young in this.
Awesome Powers, International Man of Mystery, Awesome Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me, and Awesome Powers in Goldmember.
That's right. All right. So
I'm an Awesome Powers fan, folks. Sorry.
Dude, you are Awesome Powers.
Behave.
Yeah, baby, yeah.
It was fake laughter, then it turned to real laughter.
Yeah, because it was just awful impressions, or maybe the best you've ever seen. But anyway,
probably.
Quick synopsis of the movie. This is like apparently people really dicked up the Earth, and they don't really go into like how everybody got where they are. Which
is kind of cool, which is just like, shit's bad. We're living in a big dome.
And it looks like a mall. And
it had to be filmed in a mall.
Seriously. But okay, so I was looking at them like, well, it's a bunch of young people. Where else would they want to be? At the mall all the time, you know? Especially if it's the 70s.
Pop a dome over the mall.
Yeah. But it's about, in my opinion, a dystopian future where because of resources, you only live to 30. But it's not like you die, you go to this thing called carousel, and then you're reborn. Renewed as a baby. And then you get to live again. Got a little jewel in your hand, too.
Yep. And when it turns... there's, like, the different levels. Like,
yeah, you got your color-coded.
Yeah, there's, like, the yellows are the kids. Greens when you, like, get out of that area and become a young adult.
Yeah.
Then there's red.
Yeah.
And then I think, it's your last days or whatever. But your little jewel is your color.
Yeah.
And when it's blinking red, you're donezo.
Yeah, that means you go to carousel.
Time for renewal.
Yep. And you float and you explode.
Yeah, it's pretty rad. You know, sometimes renewal sounds pretty good to me, folks. Not gonna lie. There's days where I'm like, I'm fucking over 30.
Time for carousel.
let me float up to a weird crystal thing and just blow up.
Somehow, I've survived an extra 4 years, or no, 5 years,
It just happens, you know.
because you're supposed to go when you're 30.
We just got
Did I make it to Sanctuary? I guess we're gonna find out.
We'll find out, folks. I gotta say, off the bat, fucking miniatures, so impressive. Oh my
Right?
god,
Oh
that
my
fucking like,
God.
and they're huge.
Yeah.
Because like that camera is like panning in so slow, and it's like over the desert area or whatever, through multiple domes, then finally goes into a dome, crossfades into another fucking miniature of a city with tubes and like fucking
Like little stuff
pods
going through
it, and like the weird like pyramid thing like from fucking Blade Runner. It was just like
And like
so
water,
much work.
like a big
Yeah.
like lake thing.
It looked like one of those giant train sets that someone would have, but
Right?
like a little bigger. But like, good God, that is impressive, dude.
It was
And-
really cool.
And then on top of that, the actual set design of like
Right?
full size sets people are in, like, fucking Christ, people, so much went into just the production of this. Like, every set looks fucking good and dope, and like it looks futuristic, and it's like nothing is just like a mall.
No.
Like, even they like, you know, churched it up a little bit so it doesn't look like a mall. You know, there's still like cool fucking like, it's just fucking rad.
Yeah,
Like, just-
they did a really good job of world building. It's like it's definitely trying to find the right words for this. Like not I don't know if I'd call it immersive because I feel like I'm talking about a video game, but it brings you in. It feels
It's
like
believable.
yeah,
Like you can like you feel like, oh, this exists. This isn't just like a movie in a way, because you're like, this is like a full on fucking world, like in a
Yeah.
city, and like designed well. Like people wear certain types of clothes, and like, fuck, man. Like,
and I mean I know that like it takes work to do computer generated graphics and stuff, but I mean the amount of time that goes into like models and I mean you know.
like yeah.
I mean,
I
as a
haven't-
person that builds, like, enjoys that kind of stuff for fun, you
it's
know.
just like that would be daunting. Like I know they probably had a team, but like, good God, like interior sets alone, just like.
But I
don't
mean,
know where
like,
they got
even
some of
like
these materials,
all these
man.
little, like, all the little trees,
Mm-hmm.
like that was impressive to me, and they're
Yeah.
different. They're not a bunch of like the same tree. They're all like different, and it
Yeah.
just
But I do like how the one thing that's just like still modern day is like the escalator.
Yep.
It's a
Well,
great
you-
design. If
you
it ain't
do-
broke,
yeah.
don't fix it. You
Yeah.
know? There's no need to futurize an already perfect, you
Yeah.
know, mode of, I guess, transportation.
moving
if you will.
moving people around through a
Yeah.
place.
We nailed it the first time. Why change it?
I love the synth in this. I love just the long, just wow.
And the like the cool like arpeggiated stuff. It sounds
Yeah.
very like
Yeah.
like the music's fucking dope. It's just a lot of cool dope shit in this.
And it's, I mean, even though it's like, I don't want to call it cheesy because it's a lot went
not.
into this movie.
Yeah.
Like it's very apparent that it. I don't know what the budget was back then for something like this, but it, God, whatever it
They
was,
put
like
they
it
put
was,
time
they put
and
a-
work into
yes.
it, so you can't say it's cheesy because like, flash forward to Carousel, I didn't see a single wire. And like for a scene like that, that's pretty impressive. You have multiple people on wires also spinning around up in the air,
Yeah.
like
You have a few people like doing like flips and
flips,
stuff.
yeah.
like,
And I was just
"Whoa."
like, I think I first saw this movie when I was like a teenager. It was on IFC back when IFC was cool, and they actually played movies and like, you know, older movies and movies that people haven't seen, independent films as well. And like, I didn't fully understand like production design and all the stuff that goes into it. So watching this as an adult, I'm like, fuck, a lot of work went into this movie. Fuck yeah, and it pays off. Like,
Yeah.
it really does. Like
They're practical effects and stuff, but it's cool.
I also want to know, how can you function with a jewel in your hand? That's got to get annoying after a while. But I'm sure, like, as the years go on, you don't really notice it. But, like,
I mean, if
does
you're
it hurt if you,
born,
like, press something on it pretty hard? Like, ow.
I mean, if you're born with it, it's probably just it's normal. It's like you have it all the time. It was never without. Everybody's got one, so I mean, no one ever would know. I have a feeling like if you just got one though, it'd be annoying. Like I feel like I'd be walking around or like put my hand on something and be clicking like when I touch stuff. Just
what would be the hardest thing? Cranking the hog.
Right.
You know?
Be cutting your hog up with a jewel.
Splicing it, folks.
Well, I mean, in this society, it doesn't seem like you have a lot of time for that anyway. You can just
and also
you can
like
literally
you can just,
beam people to your room.
Yeah, like beam prostitutes to your room, or you can just go to crazy sex rave.
So it doesn't seem like it's a prostitute. It's more of a you can put yourself in it and then
it's like a weird. It seemed like almost dating service.
Yeah, it's like a dating app almost.
Yeah,
except for you can like literally beam people to your room, which is crazy. I like it's like the guy and he's just like.
I also want to know, when does the numerical count of the people start over?
What do you mean?
So like he's Logan 5, it's Logan 6, Logan 8, Logan when it hits 10, does it knock back over to 1? Because if not, then you would have like, and it's like, pretty far into the future after the world got to shit. So you'd have like Logan 502, Logan 503. So it has to like numerically reset itself at one point.
Or maybe it goes, like 1A or something when it gets to a certain point.
I feel like it just went to 10 and they're like, click it over. The other ones are long gone by now. People don't even know. You're the first Logan. Whoa.
What?
Cool.
Logan 0.
Whoa. So then him and his buddy go to Carousel, which that cool giant mirror hand that's like spinning, and it's got the jewel on it when everyone's walking into it. It's fucking dope. And then it's like a crazy Lyceum thing, and there's like a giant red like lotus flower crystal. And then everyone, which it was cool when they're like, Capricorn, something, like, because I mean, like, it'd be like all people at this fucking same time, like, born in that time would go, which was fucking great that we still have astrology and that survived. And then, they take off their hoods and they have those like fucking cool like ski masks that are like all got the black on them. But like, I like how some people are like, ooh, I'm like, this isn't your first Carousel. You've seen this, right?
That's what I was like when I'm like, why are some of you like, oh my gosh, like when they take that, I'm like, I don't know, maybe they just get excited every time they see it. Like, the guys in red have seen it a million times.
Yeah. All I know is I'd be there. I'm like, this is the worst show at the planetarium I've ever seen. Yeah. There's no planets
until they start
or
exploding and the sparks
like,
come out.
Okay.
Oh shit, that's cool.
We knew. Yeah. I like when even Logan's fucking like into it, because the beginning of the movie he's very into his job and what they've been fed. He's a Sandman, a Sandman, if you will, which I guess I don't know why they're called Sandmans, other than they put people to sleep.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Runners, when people run, they go hunt them down.
But they don't call it that. They call it like, they don't call it killing either. It's like terminating or something.
They just like terminate.
Whatever it was, it really dehumanizes.
Yeah, because even a little bit later on, she's like, because you've killed person. Like, I've never killed a person in my life. I've terminated him. And I was like,
think about what you say, buddy. And he's like, eventually he starts thinking about it though as that.
And because like the people around him are like, bringing up questions, and I like at first he's like, why would you even think of a thing like that? Oh well, and then he's just like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
there's something to this, I guess.
To me, it has like a very like sort of a 1984-ish kind of vibe where you all kind of just think the same way. And that's just how it is.
You're fed the same thing all the fucking time.
So like thinking outside of that is just like, what are you fucking doing, man?
What's wrong with you? Yeah, of course when people get renewed, they
come back as babies. Over. You fucking, what the hell, you dummy? Like,
you don't die. What are you, dumb? Fuck you, man.
You only die if you like try and run away.
Yeah.
Because like, how are you gonna get renewed if you don't go to Carousel? You just die on the street. Not floating up to the big thing and exploding.
And so then Logan gets a call that there's a runner, which like I don't know how they Other than like it's a person sneaking out at a time. Like I don't know how they classify runners because they're able to like see him on a screen and like instantly identify him. And so he leaves, and I like their guns that they shoot like the out of them, and then apparently the lasers aren't that good because they just keep hitting the floor.
Either that or they're awful shots.
I mean, that's very true because in him, I don't remember his name. I'm just going to call him Duncan Idaho because that's how I know
The guy
him.
that it's Francis, I think.
Oh, okay. Anyway, they're shooting at the dude and they're fucking lighting him up, and it's like that scene from Dumb and Dumber where like it's just completely going all around the guy and he's just like, ooh,
Yeah.
and then finally gets shot and falls over the edge.
Yeah. And then the guys come with their jetpacks.
And just like hover over it and just melt the dude. And then he dissolves it and it cleans it up. There's like no
it's just
residue.
gone. Like I
Yeah.
thought like when it got to a certain point it would just be like mush there and someone would have to come clean it, but all of it goes away.
Like, and I know this is based on a book, so I don't know how much is like taken from the book, but also the aspect of like they have to design it. So like the cool dudes like on the fucking like cool jet platforms, you know, coming down. But
like what a weird design just to take
Yeah.
care of a corpse. Like
I mean, it's like a
could you
Zamboni.
just have a guy come over and just go tsh, like spray it with something?
Well, you don't want to get it on yourself, so you know it's just you Zamboni them up. You just kind of go over them, and then
When you float away and then they just
Yeah.
melt away. Okay, you know. I mean,
But
they've got it figured out. Who am I to question? I don't
They've got
remember
it
what year
down
was,
by
like
now,
40
you know.
something, 40, 70 something or something.
But Logan takes some shit out of that guy's pocket, and then he goes to identify him. And when he looks at the picture, it's like, that's not him. So he's like, you know, can I get an identification check? They're like, oh yeah, he changed his face, which like you can just do.
Yeah, you just
Just, like, easily.
or change
So I
your
was
body
like-
for that matter too. I guess.
Yeah, like it's so cool. You can just like, I mean, like, why not? When you're only gonna live to 30, you're like, fuck it, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
do what I want to my body. It's just gonna blow up in 30 years anyway.
Yeah.
When Logan's back at his apartment, dude, he's got a sick fucking robe.
Right.
That is just fucking majestic, dude. I'm like, hell yeah, brother. That guy's in his robe game, you know?
Yeah.
So good. I got his little glass.
That long glass of whatever it is, that red drink.
It's just cranberry juice. I like
Yeah.
to do it so my kidneys get flushed.
Yeah.
As a Sandman, I don't really get a lot of water breaks, you know.
Yeah.
I make
I'm
sure
on-
I don't
I'm on
get any
the run a lot.
stones.
Yeah.
I don't get any
Run-
stones in my bladder.
I love cranberry juice.
It's fucking good. I like the straight up stuff too. Like I
I
don't
know.
like it
I don't
cut
like
with
cocktail.
raspberry. That's fucking gross. I don't
I
like
don't
it
like
sweetened,
cocktail.
but just like cranberry concentrate.
Oh my God.
so
Oh, yeah.
fucking good, so good.
So good. So tart. So nice.
And I will have to give a shout out to Aaron Brunn because he introduced me as a child to cranberry juice with seltzer water. And at the time, as being a child, I was like, that's fucking dumb. You guys don't have soda? And then as an adult, I'm like, it's delicious. So thank you, Aaron, for that. I didn't appreciate it in middle school, but I certainly do appreciate it as
I
a
totally
30,
forgot
40-year-old
about
man.
that. And
Yeah.
I'm going to do it again because that sounds fucking delicious.
So fucking good.
Just
So,
like a
I mean,
regular bottle, like a
You just get like or you can get those little cans. I usually get like the cans of seltzer, just crack that open, pour it, like, get a good amount of cranberry juice, pour it in. It's fucking great.
Damn, dude, it's like a bubbly cranberry soda.
Oh, it's so fucking
That sounds
good.
so good. I'm getting that tomorrow when I go to the store.
Mm.
I
I hope
cut
they
this
have
out
that
of
in the future. So
Oh, yeah, damn it. I forgot I
hope
live
they
on
have-
projectnerd.com.
project-nerd.com.
Sorry.
Don't forget the hyphen.
I know.
I gotta say, like, Logan's very persistent, and she's like, oh, I'm just sad because my friend died tonight. I was like, oh, in Carousel? She's like, no, he died, and it was the guy that he killed.
Yeah.
But he's like, sad or not, you're beautiful. Let's have sex now.
Yeah.
And he just says it like that, folks.
Yeah.
I'm not lying.
Yeah,
And
he just goes,
he just
"Let's have sex."
keeps trying, and she keeps saying no. And I just want to say, Logan, no means no, dude.
I mean, it does. And, I mean, he does respect it.
It's
Because
true.
he's like,
then
well, let's
"Alright."
go. And she's like, no. And he's like, oh, but, well, then why are you here?
Yeah.
Why'd you get into the, the dating app cube then?
It's just, I thought it was a good idea, but now I'm regretting it at the time,
And he's like, all right, get out.
No, then fucking leave.
And then his friend
like,
comes over with
and
two
just, like,
floozies anyway, with a ball
throws
and
that
whatever.
fucking ball in the ceiling, and it's just drugs. I'm sure it's like ecstasy or something, or
Right.
like, some kind of
But if
aphrodisiac, and it's just like
like
covers the room too. And I'm like, "Oh."
regardless of what it was and how fun it was, if you came to my house and did that, I'd be like, "This is gonna be fun, but you're helping me clean this shit up later."
Well, it's the future. It probably just dissolves.
Oh,
If
you
they
just
can
get the
dissolve
jetpack
bodies,
dudes
they
in
can.
there.
Well, what they do is it's like a dust buster. It's a little jetpack, and they just kind of go, and it just dissolves all the powder. But it has to have a little action figure of a guy on there because, why not? So it's like a little guy, like, at home jetpack Zambonis. A lot of these people look a little bit older than 30. I get it. Actors.
The runner that he finds later on looks way older than 30.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm like, just 30.
And then even like,
How long you been out here running around?
Duncan, Idaho, I'm just like,
Yeah.
look a little bit older than 30. I gave you like 32 maybe.
Yeah.
But then again, that was a different time. People looked a little bit older back then, and they're probably like, "We're 21." I'm like, "Ooh."
You are?
But we're full of preservatives at this point. That's
Yeah.
why we just look forever young. All these microplastics in us, like,
They're keeping
we're
us
basically
looking...
like dolls,
Yeah. So even after, like, when I'm buried, I probably won't be buried. I don't know what's going to happen to me. I'll be dead and don't give a shit. But I'll
Yeah.
probably still look like a Ken doll.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll be sure to make them scoop you out down there so you can be a real.
Well, there you
Ken
go.
doll.
Just, like, nice and...
Just like make it look like underwear too,
Yeah.
flesh underwear. You're like, this was his wish.
Yeah, it was
He
my
wanted
dying wish.
He wanted his dangus scooped out, scooped off, make it smooth as hell down there.
Most of people are going to be questioning, really? At, like, 110 it worked? No. That
No,
was
no,
just
no.
his dying wish. No, it was destroyed. It was there was
Immediately
barely
destroyed.
anything there.
And we made it an open casket, full open casket, not just the face.
Because he said he
everyone
wanted to be
appreciate
nude
Yeah.
in the casket. To show everybody what he was working with. The
Yeah.
sweet Ken doll torso. Like,
that. I knew it. Abs and flesh-colored underwear attached to his body. This was a fucking cool scene. Duncan Idaho goes in there with like the evidence that he found that guy, and there's like that swirling thing, and it's like scanning it, and then it's just like whoop, and it's like erases it. I was like, fuck yeah. So then Logan goes in there, he empties his pocket from that runner he killed earlier, and it's got the Unk symbol in it, and it's just scanning and scanning and scanning. I was like, this is taking a long time. And then the computer lady's like, need debriefing, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And so he goes over there, and
she's like, why don't you come over here and sit on Pep Slap?
She's like, have you ever seen this symbol? Do you know what this is? He's like, no. She's like, it's the Ankhs. And he goes, okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what the word sanctuary means? I don't know. Negative. I don't know. And she's just like, oh, well, it's associated with the Ankh symbol. He's like, okay.
Cool. Like, I mean,
so,
he's confused with this whole thing.
Yeah. And then she's like, we're going to need you to act as a runner to try to find sanctuary. And he's like, well, okay, but like, I'm still just like a level red. I still got like 4 years left on me. And she's like, oh, put your hand on the thing, because it's like how they like identify themselves. They put the crystal in there, folks. And he does, and she like, I don't know if she ages him or just like winds up his clock, but it looked like physically like it was kind of like causing discomfort for him. And then it started like blinking. He's like, I still have 4 more years to go. This is gonna get reset, right?
She's like, have fun going.
Yeah.
I'm like,
And he kept. I love he like kept asking like, I'm gonna get it back, right? And she's just like, you know your mission, go.
Yeah,
And it just, or it doesn't even say anything. It just like turns off.
Yeah, it just goes
just
blank. You're like, weak, dude.
So I guess I'll get it back. So he can't tell anybody because he can't get his friends to go with him. So he's gotta go undercover. And he's like trying to tell his buddy, and his buddy's like, "Oh, whatever," and just like dunks his head underwater. So he's like,
"You need to get in the water too." And he's like, "God damn it, fuck this."
Dude, I'm out, brother. And then Logan, I think he tries to find that lady because she has the Ankh symbol. I think he remembers that or whatever.
Oh yeah, he has her like brought over, and then they have that conversation about. He's like, "Well,
I'm a runner too."
Yeah.
See.
And she's like, well, if that's the case, then why the fuck would you just, like...
Well, it's different now. I like what he said. He's like, it's different because it's me now.
Yeah, and I'm like... You might not
Which
want to
is-
use that argument, dude, because it just
Yeah.
makes it sound like, well, but I wasn't ready to turn 31, but these guys, they should have been in
Yeah.
carousel, man. It was my job, you know.
I
But
mean, now that it's me, well, he also finds out. So the computer says like, there's 1,100
yeah, that's right.
missing cases of runners. Like there's like they're just missing.
yeah,
And he goes, well, they had to have been renewed, right? And he's like, they were renewed, right? Renewal's real, right? And she's just like, question
Nothing.
invalid. And I was just
Yeah.
like, so he basically finds out then of like, oh, renewal's not real. Because then he goes and asks Duncan in the tub. He's like, have you ever seen somebody been renewed?
and he's like, yeah, totally.
Totally, all the time, dude. What
He's
are you
like-
talking about? Why are you thinking like this, guy? Come on, get in the soak. Come on, soak with me.
Yeah, get naked, get in the soap.
Yeah, let me see that.
I like how in the background there's just like dudes doing flips and shit.
Well, they're just training. When you're a Sandman, you got to keep fit. You don't know if you're gonna need a parkour because apparently a lot of people know it because that dude scaled up those like awnings and like platforms when he was running.
Well,
at the beginning.
everybody in this society looks pretty fit anyway.
I mean, they're all under 30. So
Yeah.
I do have a question because they do show the miniature city again because he gets in the tube.
Mm-hmm.
He's with her.
Oh yeah, because he's trying to convince her to like help him
Mhm. And
because
then he gets a job.
he's on that like mission to
I
find
have
sanctuary.
to find sanctuary, and she's like, "Oh, it must be real," because then her friends are like, "He knows about sanctuary. You have to kill him."
Yeah.
And she goes, "Okay."
Yeah,
But then she has a change of heart because he's like, "Oh, I got a call."
And he goes and finds it like, let's go to arcade. He's like, okay, and that guy's like, I'm gonna use this chain to
Yeah.
strangle him.
They're on the escalator, and then he's like, "I got a call. We got to take it." And she's like, "I'll go with you." And he goes, "Okay."
And then
So
they
they-
get there. Oh wait, maybe you shouldn't go with me.
Yeah. No, but I want to.
Okay.
But I had this question when they showed the miniature city again. I know it got destroyed, but like, is there any bit of that still exists somewhere? Like, does anybody that worked on that film still have like
like a
chunk
piece
that,
of like Logan's
of that
Run,
city?
like,
Because
like
like
set city.
like that the miniature city? Like, does anybody have like a chunk of that? Because I would have taken that. But like at that
Seriously,
point, you're like,
dude.
"It was my fucking job. It took forever to build this. I don't want to see it anymore." But like, I fucking hope
Regardless, I
somebody-
would have taken I would have
Yeah.
cut a piece out of it like a cake just to take.
Yeah, I would have taken.
But I
like,
mean,
one of
at the time, they probably
buildings or
didn't
something.
realize that like this movie was gonna be.
Like a cult classic
Yeah,
or something,
yeah.
you know. I don't know how well it did in box office, but I don't care because it's cool.
It's friggin' cool.
So when they're in the Citadel, what do they call it?
Cathedral.
Cathedral. That's where all the Cubs are.
Yeah,
And
and they
he's
get
like,
cut
"You
up
should
because
be-
people are.
You should be scared. Be careful. And I
Like-
like.
How do they survive? Is my question. Like, so they send a bunch of kids down to Cathedral, and like they just somehow survive.
It's like a Lord of the Flies situation. You know, they did have that weird teenage guy that had a broken pipe, a sharp pipe.
That was the kid. That was the dude I was talking about. That I was
Yeah.
like, he looks like he's been in like a bunch of other movies, but like always as like the extra guy,
Yeah,
like doing that
he's a
kind of shit.
character actor,
Yeah.
you know. My favorite was like he's getting the permission to open the door, and it opens, and he's like, "You better let me go first, because sometimes they're waiting inside there." I'm like, as you say that out loud, so they can
Yeah.
hear you coming, and it's like, oh, okay, thanks for the warning, dude.
I know.
They're
And
around
like,
the,
even
they're
though,
around the
like,
corner. They're like, well, great. Now it's not gonna be fun if we surprise him. He knows. Damn
What's
it.
great about when he does that, he's like, they might be around the corner, and he just walks in with his back to that one wall. I'm just like, they
Hey
could have.
man, I'm a Sandman. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. And then those other guys had like followed him.
Yeah, the red guys.
Yeah.
But then also Duncan Idaho too, because he got the call too. He's like, "Oh, I'll go assist him. He obviously is gonna need help."
Yeah.
But so the little girl steals what's her name's like little bracelet.
I know
And
that
she's
was so like
"Fucking son of a bitch." She's like,
that was a
"Oh,
great way, just like
you're
oh,
so-
yeah.
You're so beautiful, blah blah blah, and then just like yoink.
She
and then
calls her a
gone.
nice old lady.
Oof, ouch. You're like 20, maybe 19 or 18. You're
like,
such a nice old lady, but that's
they've
old.
they've never seen old people.
That's old
that
to
is
them.
old to them.
I also like how she called them inbreeders. And he's like, we're all inbreeders.
You're like,
When you think about it, it's like, we're all just like inbreeders, dude. It's like,
like
well, he's not
technically,
wrong.
I mean, y'all live in like this one little tiny society. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people,
Yeah, and there's like, seed mothers and stuff like that. But,
And I mean, they're probably not like they're probably somewhat related, but like not completely. Like it's probably
Yeah,
enough to like not like
I'm wondering
have a
if
bunch of like
when you're getting close to your time, do you like donate some of your DNA and they make like a baby of you?
that's what it
Or do
seems
they
like.
just like have a baby? They're like, yeah, people are making babies. We're like, oh, this one's Logan. This one's you, dude.
Well, see, I feel like it's more test tubey because like when they finally get to whatever if it's it's not really sanctuary, it's just like when they find that one dude and he talks about, well, how do you think I got here,
And they're like,
mother.
we don't know. Whoa, you grew inside her? What?
But anyway, I'm jumping real far ahead.
I do like when all the cubbies coming out, but like they're speaking like backwards.
Yeah,
They like reverse the audio, and I was like, ugh. They have,
I know,
like,
it
a
was
weird
creepy.
language
It's like,
where
why do they
ugh. I don't know if I like that, but it's cool.
like, it was cool and creepy, and I was like,
Yeah.
every time I try and focus in on it, I was like, wait, no, I just heard a word that was forward, so is it
Yeah.
backwards? I'm like,
Yeah, it was so weird. And then like I like how they're like, surround him, get his back. We could rush him. And I was like, okay.
well, he's gonna. I don't know if that gun runs out of ammo, man.
I think it's just constantly charged up, it's like a plasma. But I like how he's just like, you should be afraid, dude, because like you're what, 14, 15? Another year you're gonna get green and go up there. And if you try to stay here, probably one of these guys is gonna kill you. And he's like,
Whoa.
okay. And then he gets the gun out and everybody scatters and he's like, we can rush him. And he's got his little pipe like.
And he's like,
But I like-
screw it. Yeah.
I like what he said when he's like, do you want this to be your last day? Or yeah, how many of you want this to be last day? And like that's how they call it, like death. Like you want to be like, how many of you want
Yeah.
this to be last day? And they're like, ooh, and they like run off.
Yeah. Start saying that to people.
You want this to be last day? Because I'm about to make it.
Yeah. You're like, what? You heard me.
Okay.
That's when you bust out your plasma pistol. That's just like,
Yeah. And then it's like shit explodes off of you, and then you're done. That's your
Yeah.
last day. So then Duncan, Idaho, sees them talking, and because that's when they find that lady that looks
Oh, yeah.
way over 30, and she's
Yeah.
like, I still have more years. I'm like
24, and I'm like,
24, and I'm like,
that would have been great if they were both like, I mean, we're
You
pushing.
don't look it.
We're getting
We're-
there.
I'm
We're-
pushing 30, lady,
Yeah.
and you look
Yeah.
quite old.
I mean, I just had 4 numbers taken. Come on. Like, I think he does show her though his hand.
Yeah, he's like, see, I'm a runner too. I'm not going to hurt you. Here's a little ball. Throw it as hard as you can and hold your breath and run because it's a gas ball. And Duncan's seeing this the whole time. And then Logan and the lady leave, and Duncan just shoots that lady through the
He's
hole.
like, "Oh, hey,
She's-
runner!" Pop.
Yeah. But then
She's
there's a
loud.
really, yeah, seriously. And then there was like, oh well, we tried. She's like, he did save a lady. Try to save a lady. She's like super advocating that he's a runner, he's real, and everyone's like, no, he's not.
Yeah.
But anyway, like, there's a really cool shot. It's like them on the other side of the wall with the holes in it, and they're like framed up perfectly, or like their heads. It's like it's fucking cool looking, folks. But she's like, I have to tell you, I was gonna take you to arcade to get you killed. Now that you know, sorry. And he's just like, okay. I
Yeah.
got shit to do, lady.
Well, I think he kind of still he still has the
He's still on the
I'm
mission.
gonna yeah. That's why he's like, oh, whatever. He
Yeah,
probably would have
but
just
there's
killed
still,
those
like,
guys
those-
if they would have tried anything.
Yeah,
If they
he's
would have
still-
gotten didn't choke him to death.
Yeah. I think those seeds of doubt keep planting. Like, the more he's with this girl and he's asking questions and he sees that poor lady, he's like, oh, this does kind of suck. But, like, oh, I'm one of you. See, my hand is blinking.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yes. It's the face one. It's
Yeah.
the face thing because he goes there and
Farrah Fawcett's
Fawcett,
the
who for some reason
secretary, and
isn't-
she's playing dumb, like really bad, and she says Sandman so many times.
yeah.
And I love that really bad like ADR where it's like behind her back. She's like not even doing anything. She's sitting there like "Doctor, there's a Sandman here. Are you ready for an appointment?" And then it goes back to her. I was like,
Yeah.
"Did she not like get on the phone?" She just said that out loud. And he's like,
Yeah.
"I'm within the earshot." Yes, I am.
I know. I was like, what is she talking into? Because she just sits
Yeah.
down at that desk and it's just like her back, and I'm like,
But then the doctor's like, "Oh, we don't get very many Sandman." He's like, "Well, you know, blah blah, I'm blinking or whatever."
what's great? I love that guy's like sparkly. Like,
And he's got the gloves that are all sparkly, but like I know that texture and it's fucking awful. I hate that feeling. It's like that gritty, like it moves too. You're like, ugh.
awful.
It's a weird textury sensory thing. I do not
I
like.
want to thank Gigulax for not making us
Thank
wear
you.
that crap.
Yes, this is
This
quite
is
more comfortable than
Yeah.
glittery sandpaper fucking. Well, I like first the doctor's showing him. He's like, "Oh, see, like here I can cut your face," and he's like, "What?" And he's like, "and instantly healed, and you don't feel a thing."
He's like, oh, okay.
Oh, cool. And then the doctor gets a call like, "Oh, there's a Sandman that's running," and he's like, you know, we gotta get him. He's like, "Oh, really?" Oh, because he's part of like the
Yeah.
sanctuary thing. He's like, he told the lady, "You shouldn't have brought him here. What the fuck are you
Yeah.
doing?"
Now I got to kill him. Thanks.
And then lasering him, and poor Farrah Fawcett's like still in that like.
Yeah, I'm
dome
like,
room
why
with
did you
him, like,
trap her
"Whoa!"
in there with him?
And it's just like whoa, whoa, whoa. And I was thinking, when those lasers are going off, I was like, man, that had to be a lot of work to animate those. Like
Right.
they're fucking shooting and like the arms and stuff, and like they're hitting the dudes, and it's just like,
I was really impressed with that scene.
yeah,
Because it's that whole like the room with the spinning bed and like the whole, it's like a glass like
and like the walls
room
are
and
mirrors and shiny,
yeah,
you know,
and like the door on that thing like slid open all cool, and I'm like, man, this is like a whole, like you can tell when there's like drawings or like paintings and stuff, but none of that, it looked like a whole fucking set.
It was because like there's so many times where like they're filming and it's like panning out with them, and then it keeps going, and I'm like, oh, that's a room, holy shit. So then yeah, Duncan comes in and he's like, starts like, what the fuck you doing, bro? What's going on?
And he's like, oh, I don't know. He's like, I fucking saw you talking to that runner, dude. You just let her
Dude.
go.
And you just saved her. And he's like,
like,
can't
bro.
tell his friend why, you know.
He's like, dude, I've been fucking covering for you. So how about we quit this shit? We get rid of this girl, and we go back to doing our Sandman stuff because you're my buddy.
And Logan's like, no. And then wrestling, fights him, and then
Somehow the doctor ends up on that bed and gets all cut up by the lasers.
well, yeah, when him and Logan were in there wrestling, he like throws him on there, and he's like, "Wah, wah, 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 wah," and like gets cut up.
Yeah.
But then, you know, Logan and the lady run away, and she's like, "We're gonna go to like the pleasure town or whatever the fuck it's called."
That's
And,
just
like,
a weird scene. It's just like them running away, and they end up in like the sex club or whatever it is.
And what's crazy, it's like all in slow mo.
Yeah.
So like I'm wondering, there's like that curtain of like fog they run through, and I feel like that's just like straight ecstasy.
Yeah.
He's breathing in ecstasy, but they're like kind of in slow mo, so it's crazy that there's like probably some fucking time spatial difference there, and then because you can want to like enjoy these things longer, and like all these like naked people are grabbing them, and they're like trying to fucking get away.
I love that because it's just like all like wading through. Like honestly, like that looked really annoying, like more than anything, especially since they were trying to run. Because I was like,
I'm fucking busy today, dude. I love you. Good.
Yeah, but it, like how slow they were moving and shit, and like just how many there were, and it wasn't like it was aggressive but not aggressive. It's just more frustrating than anything.
It's like, dude, I'm trying to fucking leave, but then luckily they're also like grabbing Duncan, Idaho, and shit.
Well, I think it's just when you walk in there. I think that's the whole point of that.
Because then
when
they leave, they're fine. So it's like it's so weird that you're like in slow mo.
Like,
while you're doing that, and you're just like, whoa, sure.
And they get kind of split up, like far.
Yeah.
Like she ends up in a pile of dudes. He ends up in like dudes and girls.
Yeah, they're like grabbing all over him. He's like fucking pushing them off really hard and stuff. And like I feel like he like throws a person. Like Logan just like straight up tosses a person. Like get the fuck out of my way, dude.
Well, because he thinks that's how he like realized they're like super separated.
Yeah.
And then I think he's like, oh, let's go this way.
Yeah. And then she has that secret door they go through. And they're like to the entrance of one of the ways, like where the the resistance kind of people are hiding.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets like the most complicated set of instructions by that dude on the other side of the wall. He's like, put your gun down. Now put your hands on top of your head. Clasp your hands. And then turn your hands over. There's going to be a light that hits you. Walk towards it, but kneel down a little low.
Because you got to crawl through the little thing.
And I was like, dude, I'm not going to remember all that. That's so many instructions, dude.
Can I please put my hands down so I don't fall on my face when I crawl through the door?
No. Palms up.
Great.
And then he gives
like
them more
lean.
instructions when he's the other side, and they finally like get convinced. He's like, go down this hallway for this way, and only go down, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, dude, this guy loves giving instructions. And you never see his face, which is kind of cool.
But they all have these sick-ass glowing spears.
Dude, yeah, which
like,
just look like turkey basters on the end of spears with like a light in them, you know? But they like...
They blast you in the face with stuff.
Yeah. It's like cold or something? I don't know. But they just look like turkey basters on the end of sticks, which were cool, by the way.
Well, no,
You
that's
gotta
when
use what you gotta use.
that Holly girl like comes stumbling in.
Yeah,
and
she's
this is
"He's-"
like, and like before he even walked in there, he pressed that button to like call the fucking goons in.
Because then he's like, oh wait, this isn't Sanctuary? They're like, no, and he's like, fuck. Because that's when he was still like on his mission. Because he was even, because she, yeah, like the Farrah Fawcett comes in. Sorry, folks, I don't even remember people's names other than Logan and Box. Box is the only one I know. But she comes in, she's like, he's not a runner, he's a fucking Sandman. He killed the doctor, and then like,
well, what's crazy
lady
about like
takes-
that? It's just like, oh, you were fucking there,
yeah.
dude.
Remember the other runner
I'm like,
or
oh,
the other
you
Sandman?
dumbass,
She's
you're just
like,
gonna get them killed.
oh yeah, I do remember that. She's like, and remember when the other runner came in and the doctor was dead and blah blah. She's like, oh yeah, that's how it happened. No, he's
these
cool.
guys are cool. Yeah,
Yeah, he's a runner, and it's like you were about to get him killed. And I like how the lady was like, you remember? That's how it went. She's like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, oh yeah, cool. Whatever, she gets killed. That's what she gets.
Yeah, I feel so bad. Just like boom, wall
Well,
was fucking exploding. There's
Yeah.
people getting lit.
They get
up.
there. They get there quick.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's their job.
I mean, you got fast tubes for transportation.
But then, like Logan, you know, he does that, he brings all those assholes there, and then like what? Instantly fucking regrets it.
Well, he's like starting to run away because like he doesn't want to get caught or killed.
Yeah.
And also, I think he's slowly starting to fall in love with the lady at this point because he was like, yeah, she should stay behind. I'm only gonna go. And she's like, no, I want to go with you. He's like, you're young. You have plenty more years ahead of you.
Yeah.
And she's like, I only want to be with you. And he goes, oh, well, okay.
All right, I guess.
So that's when he's like, okay, I guess I got to keep her alive because now she kind of likes me.
Yeah. I want to. I've been working hard at this one, man.
Been waiting for this for a very long time. I've been putting my time in.
I get it. He's like, let's go. I'm shooting some guys.
Yeah. And like that's when Duncan, of course, is on the other side of the wall again, and he's like, dude, fucking stop. If you don't stop, I will fucking kill you. You're my best friend in the whole wide world.
Yeah.
And then he shoots that fence, and he's like, woo.
Yeah.
And they get to the other side, and so the wall's like, show, here's the symbol of the Ongs, your key. And she's like slowly taking off hers, and then he's like trying to get the necklace, and they drop it in the water, and then he goes, oh wait, I have the other one this whole time. And I was like,
I like how they're fishing around for it in the water and they can't find it.
it's not even that deep of water, because the dude finds it instantly. Just
I know, he
there.
walks up and it's just laying there. I'm like, oh my god.
And like I know that he had to end up getting on the other side because there's no turning back at that point. They don't know why they're way in, so you have to have the guy chasing him be able to get on the other side.
Yeah.
And then they go through like the fish tank area, and they get shot at, and it breaks open that glass, and it starts filling with water.
And then they make it through that door, and he seals it off.
He's like, oh, it falls on that lever, and it's an elevator.
Yeah.
And it takes you up to a fucking freezer, because by the time they're at the top, they already have like frost on them, and they're soaking wet. I don't know. I mean,
was like,
Jesus Christ, and it's just like.
Both of them are like.
And what's cool, that set was really cool too. That looked like
were those supposed to be
ice.
like? Were those supposed to be things that guy that he froze, like the walrus?
I think he was like
shit?
sculpting it. So like there was like the birds, and then there was like the penguins, which like I don't know if they know what those animals are, because they don't know what a fucking cat is.
Yeah. Like
So
they
they're
have
probably
like
just
zero animals.
My birds and sparrows, and he's like, okay.
Okay.
Because first she's like, oh, maybe we can cover up with these. He's like, let's take our clothes off before they freeze on us. And it's like, okay, that's not a bad
I
idea.
love that. They take their clothes off, but like maybe 5 minutes later, put them right back on.
Yeah.
Like there's no way those are dry.
Yeah, they're
But they
frozen
put
on
their
the ground.
they put their furs back
Yeah.
on, so it's all good.
And then Box shows up, which is this robot that is a dude pretty much covered in tinfoil on the face.
Yeah.
Because you can see his real teeth between
Yeah.
it at points. And I'm like, points for effort. That's pretty good. You got a
it's
real
pretty
guy
cool.
instead of just having like a thing because his arms
Yeah.
move. But it's just like, and this is when you find out that none of the runners have escaped because he's like, oh, they've all come here because the fish stopped coming here and the algae stopped being sent up. So these came here and I froze them because the fish stopped coming here and the algae stopped coming up. And like he just kept repeating that. And they're like,
Yeah, and they're like
going down that hall and all there is like people fucking like frozen in the walls and stuff. I was like, oh,
And he's
shit.
like, huh. They're like,
And now
okay,
now it is
we
your
go
turn.
now.
Yeah. So Box tries freezing them and ends up shooting something, and it's just like fucking place is caving in, and
Well, they shoot him.
oh, that's right.
Like blow him apart, and then
And like
he's
the
like,
ceiling gets hit, and it's like,
yeah, and he's like,
my
oh, my
birds.
birds.
Yeah.
And they're just like, they run off.
I do like how you can see the camera crew reflection in Box at one point when he like comes towards the camera. I was like, oh, you're working with mirrors. It's kind of hard. I get it, but maybe you should have put the camera.
You know what we didn't talk
behind
about?
a mirror
The
with a
cool,
hole in it.
the cool like hand thing in the middle of the mall.
Oh yeah, the metal one that like
Yeah.
spins around with the mirrors on it, mirrors and the jewel in it. That's fucking right.
That thing was
I'd like
cool.
to get that as like a sculpture.
Right. They make it out to
Out of the dome,
yeah,
outside.
just outside.
And the sun's coming up and they're like, what the fuck is that? And he's like, I don't know what it is, but it's warm. Let's keep staring into it. That
Yeah, I
it
was
looks
like-
beautiful.
Like, hurting my eyes a little bit.
Yeah. And then like they're running through the wilderness and she's like, I hate the outside, everything hurts. And then like they're in the hills of Southern California, by the way, not Washington DC. And Gecko goes up her dress. She's like, I hate the outside. I'm like, sometimes I do too. I get it.
Oh, yeah.
I get it. And then they're like, he's like, it can't be far. And he's like, somehow gets a stick and he's just like whacking the other sticks and grass with it like it's a
Yeah.
machete. And I'm like, that's not doing shit, Logan.
No.
Come on, man.
But they've never been like
Outdoors.
in anything like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they don't know what the fucking sun is. This is also when like they're getting pretty heavy-handed with the, what's this? We've never seen this before. It's like, we get it.
Yeah.
You know what these things are. I get it. But they see the Washington Monument in the distance. I was like, you're still in California. That's just a painting. But it's fine. It's fine. And they start making their way there, and they go through like the water,
I was thinking to myself, like, that is got to be infested with
Oof.
with gators. Like, there's no way, like, there's nothing in that water. Like,
Well, I mean, there's nothing like, but at the same time, like when they find that other river and they jump in it and they finally find water, like it has to be pretty clean because there's no pollution anymore. Like it's been
true.
not enough people for like a good amount of time, or like nature's like cleaned itself.
like,
again. So
over-
that's probably
if it
like the
was, like-
cleanest spring water they've ever been.
if it was like, I don't remember when like their war shit happened or what year, but it was like
Yeah.
I want to say it was like 20 something
like-
when they were
yeah.
inside the dome. So
It was like 20 something when it started or whatever, but like
so it's
yeah.
been like 2,000 years. I mean,
So
at
yeah,
that
it's like
point,
cleaned itself up, But there were still people on the outside apparently, so.
there was person on the outside.
Yeah, person with family, and like it was like there had to be
Like-
others.
Like,
'cause,
and how are you surviving? Just on the nuts?
I love nuts. He's on an all raw diet,
Because he certainly isn't eating the cats. There's tons of them.
and he certainly is not eating enough food to give nutrients to his brain because he is a crazy old man that just wanders off into randomness.
Yeah.
But that's honestly how I want to live my life when I'm old, is just eat nuts and have a shitload of cats around me. So
Right.
it seems like the life, honestly.
Yeah.
But this is the first time they've seen an old person, though. Well, they go to the Lincoln Memorial,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Oh, they look like us."
Yeah.
And he's like, "I've never seen a face like that." what old looks like.
It's like you can't. None of them can grow facial hair.
Well, it's just like his face is like, kind of wrinkly
Yeah.
and different. Like he's like, that must be what old looks like. So when they see the old man, they're like, whoa.
I like when they
Your
go.
hair.
What is that? The Capitol?
Yeah, I
Is
think
that
so.
he's
yeah.
hanging out in?
I
I
think
like how he
so.
breaks off that like super awkward piece of chair and like
So loud.
I know that, and it's just like this weirdly like, dude, how are you gonna swing that? It's really
It's like it's like shaped like a L or a 7, and it's like that's
Yeah.
not gonna do anything. It's just like it's not. It's just break off that one piece.
yeah.
And make it just.
I
a
thought he was
bat,
going to. I
dude.
thought he was just gonna be like, "Ugh,
And he's
there
like
we
holding
go."
it like this, like.
Yeah, I'm like, dude,
Oh.
what are you gonna do?
That would also be terrifying. Never seeing a cat before, and just one running out of a door. You're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck was that thing? Like, holy shit.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, big enough to attack a person. They can. I mean,
Yeah.
mine does.
Oh, also they walk by the graveyard.
Oh,
They're like,
yeah.
what are these things? There's people's names and numbers on them. And she's like, beloved husband, beloved wife. What
The
what
hell
does
is
that
that?
mean?
So, like, they can read and just know words, but they don't know what they mean.
Well, they know what the term wife and husband are, because they don't have those.
Yeah, but
So
they
they're
can
just like-
read them.
Well, yeah, I mean they're not illiterate, so.
Well, I mean, yeah,
putting
but I mean,
those
if you've
words
never
together.
seen the word like sanctuary, you'd just be like, well, what the fuck is? So you're just making up words now? Like, when?
I'm
Why
sure
would
they
they
know
even
the
think
word
like?
sanctuary, but like you can read something phonetically. At least you can be like,
Well,
what's
yeah,
we,
but-
weefe, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, if you, they know English though, so they have a written language. Obviously, they write.
Yeah.
So, but
I mean, then there's that screen that they're reading the guy.
well,
or the
just
lady's,
to
like,
me, I'm
telling
just
them.
wondering. I guess like, how do you cut out specific words, but you only get to use like. But I mean, I understand why a word like sanctuary wouldn't need to exist, or husband and wife. You know,
Yeah.
stuff like that just doesn't need to ever be talked about. But
'Cause, it's a dystopian
not a thing.
future. Yeah.
they have their. Then they start looking at pictures. And
Oh
then-
yeah. He's also very like doesn't answer any question, because he's like, I don't know, how long have you been here? Longer than I can remember. I don't know. He's just always like,
He's very just like. What's cool about him to me is like time is like is
yeah,
it's just irrelevant. Like it doesn't
because they
matter.
don't have anything to keep track of it.
Yeah,
It's
like,
like-
he just chills with his cats and eats nuts. Like it's
Yeah.
fucking cool.
Because his parents are gone. Because they're like, whoa, you had parents? I was like, yeah, they raised me.
Yeah.
And also, like, when he's like, let me see your hand. And he goes, and then it's like, you don't have a jewel. He's like, why would I? And he's like, I like when he looks at Logan. He's like, can I get one of these? He's like, no, I
No.
don't think so. We just are born with them.
And he's like, oh, well that's. And he's like, well, it's just not possible because you
Yeah.
have to be like. He's
And then
yeah,
she's
well-
like, you can have this. And he's like, oh, what a cool treasure. What is it? She's like, I don't know. But you're wearing it. It's like a ring. You don't know what it is. Like, I don't know. It just looked cool. I don't know.
"Oh, here, have it.
Giving him a taste of his own medicine. Like, oh,
Yeah.
you like that when someone says I know? I don't know. She's like, I don't care. I'm an old fucking man. But then while they're looking at pictures of the old presidents and shit, I do like how Logan called him that sweet mad man. Like Logan loves
Yeah.
this dude. He's like, he is fucking crazy, and I love it.
Yeah.
He's off the fucking walls. He's probably just so excited. He's like, I'm meeting an old person, and if this is how they act, I'm fucking in it, dude.
What's his name? Francis sneaks in, grabs her,
Oh yeah. Takes her up
grabs
to the
Jessica.
top. Yeah.
Oh yeah, takes her up to the balcony.
because he's like, I'm gonna toss her off, Logan. He's like, don't do it. Look,
Well, he's got his
look at
gun
your
to her.
hand. And he's like, it's a fucking lie.
I'm like, dude, but you're out here with us, dude.
Yeah.
Hello.
He's like unfazed about being outside. I mean, he's just taking his job serious. He's doing his Sandman job.
It's like,
He's
oh,
going
yeah, but
after
you're
runners.
this far away, dude. You're basically a runner at this point too.
Yeah.
You
Well, he's
used the
doing-
Ankh to open that door, and they said,
But
"This
he's
is
doing it for his job, and he's
I
like,
know.
I take my job seriously, Logan. But then they have like the most somewhat realistic fight. That's what I like about like older movies. It's not like these choreographed like people blocking punches. It's like people like swinging at each other and just like grabbing each other and like throwing.
Yeah,
them
it has
around.
a very more. It's very much like like you said, a real fight. Like when you ever see like if you see like a fight on Reddit, if that's
It's
still a
just
thing
like
in the
that. It's
future
like
here.
people are like
People are like literally fighting
at each other.
It's not choreographed, and it's all over the place. And if someone does get a hit off, it's a lucky shot.
And like they're on the ground. He's just like pushing his face, and then you know it's like I like when Duncan Idaho gets the flag and he's like swinging at him and shit, and he like hides under the desk and he like pushes the desk up and hits him in the face,
and then proceeds to beat him to death with the American flag. Well, Logan gets the flag away from him somehow, and then he gives him a few, and when he goes to get up, he gives him one to the back, and that's the death blow apparently.
He's turning around, and this was a really cool like death scene because it was very like your brain's just firing and you're just saying whatever the fuck you want, and he's just like spouting off random shit. Then he like looks at Logan's hand. He's like, "Oh, look at that." And they just like lay him down, and he's just like.
What that's great about his death is like he's looking directly at the camera.
Yeah,
they pan away, and he's just like.
Logan's holding him, and he's just like right down the barrel of the camera.
Yeah. Like that made me giggle when it switched to that set. It's like.
And then they bury him because they didn't know what buried people were. Because she's like, "Where's your mom and dad?" He's like, "Oh, they're buried." They're like, "What the fuck is that?" And then they find out. You just dig a hole and you dump a body in there.
Yeah. You mean you don't float away and explode like we do?
Yeah. And then he's like, "We have to go back. There is no sanctuary."
Yeah.
She's like, "That can't be. It's a lie.
I don't want to go back."
But then he has a great, because like he's the old man's like, right? You promise we're gonna keep it a deal. And he's like, "What'd you do?" He's like, "Well, I told him that when he dies, we'll bury him."
Yeah.
And then when they find his leader, like, "You can't do that. You promised you'd bury him." He's like, "Come with us."
Yeah.
There's so many young people. They'll be so excited to meet an old person. They'll know there's like a fucking real world out here. So
he's like, "Well, it's a long way." Yeah.
It
is kind of a long way.
Rambling stories, and then they have to go back through the water. It's like you couldn't find another way out of like. There's grassy areas there. You're like, well, this is the way we took in, so we assumed it was the way we had to take out.
Yeah, we'll just go through the water. No big deal.
And they're making a little campfire because they see the bubble city in the distance. Like it's that. He's like, yeah, it's a lot further than it looks to, old man. Sorry.
I know, and he said that. I was like, "Geez, dude, you could." He's like, "But we're almost there. We're almost there.
We're almost there, Grandpa." And then they find out what husband and wife meant, and the guy described it as best as he could. He's like, "It's just my mom was a wife and my dad was a husband, and they lived together."
And I guess that means like if they were married or whatever, and then they stayed together
and they loved each other. It's like that's the only way I can describe it. I like that. He's just like,
yeah,
that's how I can describe it. And she's like, "Oh, people like just loved each other," and she's like, "Man, that does sound like a nice life to be married and have kids, right, Logan?" And he goes. For a minute, I was like, "Oh, he's not into that." And then he goes, "Yes, it would." I was like, "Oh." That first reaction,
and then she does that little, beloved
husband.
And he's like, husband.
At first, he's just like, "Is this what I gotta
do?" Yeah.
Yeah, wife, my wife, right? I just feel bad too because he just like left his cats behind.
Yeah.
He's like talking about him a while, and he's like, they've never seen a cat. And he's like, "They've never seen a cat?" I was like, "Yeah, dude." He's like so bummed about that. Then I think he just realized like, I just left all my cats behind.
I know. And then fucking Francis, when they were fighting, I was like, "Man, you guys are being a little rough around the cats."
Yeah, careful, all right? Hey, those are my kitties.
I kept thinking that. I'm like, man, because like they'd bump into some of them, and I'm like,
these are also cool cats because they're just like, I don't give a shit. People are fighting around me.
Get them
whatever.
Bumped and they're like run out.
There's so many. I do like that. Like during that whole scene, there's like so many cats meowing in the background too.
Yeah.
And having a cat, I'm like, I can understand because it's just always fucking doing that. It's just
shit, mine just bursted through the door and like slammed the door into me. So, like,
that's how cats are, but I love them to death.
Mm-hmm. She's not a witch cat though. She can't close the door.
That's true. Only a witch cat can close the door. And that's from a previous season, folks, with the movie House. Check it out. Check out that episode too.
I quote that a lot, and people don't know. I don't expect people to know that movie.
Yeah, It's a
But I'll
hard
be
one. I
like,
didn't know it before,
and
so
they'll be like, "Oh, my cat can open a door." I'm like, "Yeah, but every cat can open a door, but only a witch cat can close it." And they look at me like it's from a
Okay.
movie. I'm sorry.
fair enough. So they find the um, big water generator thing, which is cool. It's like it takes in part of the ocean, and he's like, "Oh, I guess
That was
this is how it
another
does the
matte painting part
yeah."
when it
It's
does
like, I
like the
guess
zoom out.
yeah, this is just how they power the city. I don't know. I've never really thought about it before. I like that he's like, I don't
Just
really
took
put
it
much
for
thought
granted.
into it. Yeah, took a lot of things for granted. I like when he offers the old guy help. He's like, "No, I don't fucking need help.
Yeah,
The
he
day I
walked
don't
out and
need
figured
help, you know, is the day I don't want to be alive anymore." Told my cats that.
Yeah.
He's like, "Okay, we're gonna jump in there, but you're not gonna be able to survive. So just stay out here."
Dude, I don't think I would have survived that. They're
No.
underwater for a while, and like they have
Yes.
no idea where the fuck they're going. They're just ripping cages off a thing. Like, how do you know?
Hope.
Like, and how do you know that thing's even gonna come off?
I know that thing is put on there very flimsy, but I guess everyone's like, no one's gonna be trying to get through this.
No, but
Yeah.
when they're
And
underwater,
they do it twice too.
yeah,
And still, I'm just like,
like dude,
calm,
you guys
cool,
are
and
good. You guys are
collected.
good swimmers.
But I will say, little goof in the movie. They come out of the water. They don't have their jewels on their hands. They fucked up. I do want to point out too that when they are wearing the jewels and they're like flashing on their hands, like they hid that shit well. I don't even know how they're fucking doing that, but like it
You know-
looks good.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, like how are they wired up? Like I'm sure it's like wired and like, you know, makeup or whatever, but like they did a good makeup,
Yeah, they
made
did.
up. Like
Maked
they
up.
did a
It's got
they
the
maked up
makeup on
real
there.
good. They used the makeup on there. But yeah, I mean that was a cool fucking trick they did too. Because there's even a
Yeah.
part where he like has his sleeve up like this, and it's not like they hid it in the sleeve. And it was just like,
Yeah.
holy shit, man! Fucking a lot of detail in it. So then they get inside, and like a carousel's happening.
Oh yeah, and I mean, they're not doing themselves any favors by coming in ripped clothes and no shoes and yelling.
Yeah.
Like
There's a real world out there. Carousel's a lie.
they're all sweaty and gross. Like,
Yeah.
like all,
Everybody just laughs and turns around. I would too. I'm like, fucking crazy
okay.
guy. He's high on the red dust over here.
Yeah.
One too many balls in the air, and he's just like, carousel's a lie. Look at my hand. You're all at a very long distance, so I'm just holding up my hand, and you have no idea what you're
It's
looking
not blinking. You're just a normal dude. Go to carousel.
at. Yeah. But there's no colors, see? And then
I like how he
she's
looks
like,
over at her like, dude, you're not even helping me.
anytime now. Jump in at any time.
That was the look that he gave her.
Yeah.
Just the,
Oh yeah, no, he's right. There's a real world. Being old is a thing. It's cool. You get to get cats.
and then that's when,
They get grabbed.
yeah. Well, they kind of ish. Like they kind of get away and then not, and then they get sort of. I guess he's getting.
You're getting interrogated.
Yeah.
It's like a debriefing almost, because it's like,
Yeah.
did you? And he's like in those like the cool red tubes, and like, this was like one of my favorite moments in this entire movie.
This moment, and then there's that scene where they're escaping and they're on those weird stairs. I forgot to talk about that. It's just
Oh,
that scene of them on the
yeah.
stairs. It's just stairs and it's all dark and you just see the stairs.
Yeah, that was fucking cool.
I want to know how they did that or if that's an actual place.
Probably it's probably like MGM backlot or something. They're like, all right, let's see those stairs.
Like, they're fucking cool.
But like this scene, he's like in that thing with the tubes, and she's like, "Did you find sanctuary?" And he's just like not answering or whatever. He's like, "No," and so she's like, "Oh, your interrogation begins. Your whatever. I forgot what she calls them." And they like all these things come down.
Basically, what does she call that? It's called. It was a word that I just didn't. I couldn't figure out why they would even use it.
Yeah, like it's not like inquisitors or anything like that.
No, it's,
I don't remember what it is. Surrogation.
That's what it was, and that's what I was
Yeah.
like. Okay, so why is it called that?
I don't know. It's like the surrogates of your brain or something. I don't know if they even understand what surrogation is. They're like, it's a cool word we found. We're just going to use it. We don't know the definition of it.
So yeah, and the only reason I think that they kind of do the like extra tubey things that come down is because he's not saying anything.
And it's, I think what it's it seems like it just like takes the truth out of them, or like they're
Yeah.
subconscious or
But
something.
what's
'cause
crazy
it,
is like she still doesn't believe him. Like, no, you're fucking holding out on me. Like, how
Yeah.
are you like?
I
Because she
am
goes,
telling you the truth.
because even like she goes, okay, well stop with the fucking like holding out stuff
Yeah.
because
No,
you
this
need-
answer's not acceptable. Did you
Yeah.
find sanctuary? Is this real? Did you find the runners? And like this scene, folks, like these things come down, and then like a holographic version of its head comes up and it's spinning. But the way he talks is so crazy. He's like, no sanctuary. And then it's like another thing comes down. He's like, old man. And
it's like
they're
it
all
takes
repeating.
thoughts out of you,
Yeah.
whether you want them to come out or not. That's what it seems like.
then-
It's like a weird interrogation that kind of just sucks shit out of you.
Yeah,
But like
like
he's
the
not
truth.
lying about anything.
No. Old ruined city. And then like it's like it was creepy and just cool at the same time because that effect of like the fucking
how did they do
holographic
it?
head.
Like,
it
it's
looked
fucking
like
cool.
a flat plate that was spinning around really slow, but I still don't know how they projected like the
Yeah.
head in there. Like it's a fucking
It's
cool
so cool.
effect. And just like his head spinning, like obviously it was just being filmed spinning, but it's like no sanctuary, and I was like,
It's
whoa, dude.
like it's such a cool scene. Like it's like it's hard to just like talking about it doesn't do it justice. You kind of
Yeah,
just have
like,
to see it.
just watch the whole movie, but if you need to, just
One of
like,
the more
that
strange
scene.
interrogation scenes, but it's like
Yeah.
so I don't know, it's so cool. And then he just
Yeah.
like she like so anyway, he tells her what she wants to know, but she doesn't believe him, and so she
Yeah.
like freaks out. Like the program like freaks out.
and then he like I think he like breaks it too because he's
Yeah.
just like sitting there like that, and then it starts glitching, and then the tubes go away and it blows up, and he just starts lighting dudes up left and right. And there's so many good screams. There was like one guy's like, "Wah!" And
Yeah.
he gets like shot, and then like guy on the ground just like bam, and he's like shooting the computers.
Man, his aim gets crazy good toward the end of the movie.
You know, it was the jewel was holding him back. You know, his
Yep.
time clock is cleared, his life clock, and he's just like boom, boom, cleared up. It's turned into RoboCop. His aim got precise.
Yeah.
You know, city starts blowing up.
I mean, it doesn't take long. He just like he did what he wanted. Like,
Mhm.
go back, we're going to destroy it. And I'm like, how are you
Fuck
going to
yeah,
destroy it? I'm going to shoot some lasers around that one room real quick. And it's
Yeah.
going to just, the whole thing's going down.
And then, like, apparently, if you destroy that, just the city starts falling apart. And I feel really bad because, like, the people in Carousel are still floating up and,
Yeah.
like, exploding while the city is exploding and people are running away and falling over railings for no reason. There's a dude on fire at one point that
Yeah,
falls
that
over a
crashed
railing.
me
I was
up.
like,
I was like, why is that guy on fire?
I don't know. He's just like, light myself on fire. I don't know what to do.
Then he falls over.
Ooh. And then they all get outside somehow. I don't know how that happens.
Yeah.
But other than, they have to have that ending to it. But, like, yeah, just, like, get outside. And they all see the old man. And I really wanted them to just, like, kill the old man because they didn't know what
Right.
it was. It's like, I don't know what this is. And they just, like, tear him
Just
apart.
rip him apart like a bunch of zombies.
Poor old man is like, ah, my cats. And they're like, fuck yeah. We are an abomination. Just tear this old man apart. Young folks, other people.
Ah! Oh my god, dude. That would have just like...
What a horrible, sad ending.
I think that would push that movie toward like number one for me forever. Like if that was
Yeah.
really the ending of like a movie that had nothing like that through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then all
it
of a
was
sudden
just
the
like,
old man just gets ripped apart. I'd be like,
we don't understand what's happening.
whoa, this
Poor old
is
man
the
is
greatest
like
movie
excited
ever.
to meet young people, and he's like, cool. Nope, dead.
But they do all end up like groping him.
Touching his face, and he's just like,
Well, he hasn't been around. He's excited
Yeah.
to see people.
yeah, I mean, I would be too. I'd be a crazy old fucking hermit guy, and there's young people touching my face, and I was like, cool, these people love that I'm old. Fuck yeah, dude.
Like, man, he's gonna.
I'm
Get
gonna be
so
the
many of
king
those
this
ladies, man.
place. I'm gonna be the fucking king, dude.
Pretty much.
I'm like the coolest dude in the city. Although now we're all gonna have to live outside of it because it blew up. So I'll teach y'all how to live out here. Do you like nuts?
Yeah,
I
'cause
don't mean
that's all
that in
I've got.
a sexual way, but actual nuts.
Yeah, because that's basically all we've got. Also,
I
you're
mean,
gonna
it's-
learn what cats are. And
Yeah.
we have to go through this water to get where I
Wait till
go.
you meet my cats. I just imagine now, down in the future of this, they're all living outside the city, and they just all continue to go through that water to travel through fucking DC, and it's like one guy eventually is just like, we don't have to. It's like, no, but that's how everyone's always done it. We've always gone through this water.
I'm like, yeah, but we all like dealt with carousel for years and years.
and we're like, that's acceptable, but now we're like, hey, look,
But,
we're
like,
not the
we don't
brightest.
have to
We're a
walk
bunch of
through the
young
water.
people. Also,
like,
like,
I thought about that too. I'm like, why would a society like this last so long? Okay, well, they're all young, so that's probably why they're
they're
impressionable.
really impressionable. Yeah, like from day one, you're getting taught this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Did the cubs get out, or they all just burned to death?
Yeah,
Because they're in an area where like the doors are just locked. They like
just
lock
sealed
the
shut.
doors. So these poor kids, maybe they're like, oh, we need to go check on them. Oh shit, we'll make new ones, whatever.
Yeah.
And what about the babies? Did they all get the babies out?
Oh
did
my
the city entirely destroy, or did only the big buildings? I don't know. I got some
Yeah.
questions.
Did some
but-
people make it out? Are some people still in there and they're on their way out still?
Yeah.
Are they going to go back and grab all the kids and the babies?
Probably.
Also, maybe they should just leave that one place alone because those kids are crazy anyway. And they'll
Yeah,
kill
you don't
if
want
do anything.
those Lord of the Flies kids. They're just gonna rise up and try to kill all you. They
Like
might
the-
go after that old man. Please
Yeah.
do not let them, because that man is a treasure.
Basically.
Do not let the cubs go after that man. They're the ones that would tear that guy fucking apart.
Like if
Get him
they
with their
saw,
pipes.
like if they saw him, there's a good chance they would have like just killed him.
Oh yeah,
Because I mean, they were about to kill Logan and fucking Jessica, and they're
yeah,
what 10 years older.
yeah. Ugh, poor old man.
But yeah, happy
That's
ending
how it
in
is.
this movie.
Yeah.
Ish. I mean, like I don't know how the rest of their future is gonna go, but
You don't think about that. You just think about this one time where carousel's over, people are done being lied to. You can grow old. It's fine. Let's go touch an old man.
Yeah.
Not like that.
yeah,
Just physically, just like,
we're gonna get old someday. Let's go touch an old man.
yeah. Let's feel an old man. This is how it's gonna feel to get old.
Actually, gonna hurt a lot more than you think, but
Yeah, it's gonna suck. Just letting you know. Huh. Ladies and gentlemen, the red bedazzled jewel placed upon my hand is starting to blink red. Dane, would you happen to know anything about that?
I would actually. What that means is that you need to head on over to projectnerd.com. That's project-nerd.com. And you're gonna find out what that means there. And we're actually there's gonna be two gentlemen that look a lot like us, and they're actually gonna explain it. But I mean, if that's something that you're into, that's there. But if that's something you're not into, you can find other nerdy things there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Other reviews, unboxings. There's some wrestling stuff I've heard that's going on.
What
I mean,
fudge?
we are in the future now. We actually live on an entire planet filled with this stuff. So, it's all over. Project-nerd.com.
Boy, I hope I don't explode after doing it.
No, you won't. It's not like Carousel.
Okay, good. Thank God. Time for that review. Dude, I fucking love this movie. Like, production alone, this movie is fucking spectacular. Like, the time and the just the fucking resources they had to do to make this movie. It's a believable world. It feels like actually lived in. I don't know how to describe it. Story's cool. The idea's cool. It's got some scenes that. It's got a section of the movie I could do without being so long. Like them being in the real world and talking to that old man goes on for way too long.
Yeah.
But having said that, I'm gonna give it 9 red jewels out of 10, just for that one section of the movie alone. Everything else I fucking love about this movie. So.
Basically everything Dylan said. The world building, like the lore or fantasy that they provide, I guess, or what they've created, it's immersive. Like it's super immersive. Like it's a world. Like their world building and their storytelling are like phenomenal. The story and the direct everything looked really cool. The sets and the miniatures and just so much went into this movie. It's fucking awesome, and you need to watch it if you haven't. And I mean, Yeah, it's a movie of it's from the 70s, but very high production for a movie from the 70s. I mean, even
Yeah.
stuff like that you would consider like high production. Like this is
It's out of this. It's
so much
fucking-
went into this movie. And my only gripe would probably be like the somewhat long scenes too
Yeah.
of like stuff that could have just been shortened down a little bit. I will give this movie a 9.5 cats.
Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, like there's like a lot of other movies from the 70s that like I thought were like high production. I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." And it's just like fucking puts them to shame. I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
shit, dude." It's really like it's phenomenal, folks. Just if you don't like the movie itself, appreciate it for all the fucking work that went into it
Yeah.
cuz it paid off.
Yeah.
But seriously, go check it out. It's a fucking rad movie, good sci-fi movie. Basil from Awesome Powers is in it, so what more could you want?
Yeah.
There's ecstasy curtains, there's big old red bombs filled with probably more ecstasy.
There's nudity. There's dudes
you
in,
like
in
that.
like banana hammocks in the sex club scene.
I mean, that's the thing that got me to want to watch this movie, so.
I know, and that's hardly in the movie.
Yeah, that was my favorite part. But seriously, check it out, and I can't say that enough. Go check it out.
Yeah, watch it. It's good.
Well, for Two Guys, One Film, I'm Dylan,
And I'm Dane.
and we are going to go be renewed, so we'll see you next week, hopefully.
On the carousel.
Renew!